A very good morning to you once again and welcome to Signature Morning, even here in Abuja. My name is Godwin Sunday. Of course, we're broadcasting live from Nigerians' political capital. You all know that this is where the political discussion takes the corners and the forefront in all ramification. Well, once again, you're welcome. Now, this morning, we're looking at the issues around the hardship in Nigeria. And if you can recall that on Saturday, there was a protest in Kwara State for the call of against the current hardship being faced by Nigerians across board. Well, this time the protest took a different tone, where we saw dozens of children, mostly below the age of 18, held a protest in Ilorin, Kwara State, against the government of the ruling All Progressive Congress. The protesting children are seen in a viral video waving leaves and lamenting the hardship the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has brought on the country. The children are heard saying, calling the president all sorts of name. Well, in another video also we saw we saw online where another set of children were also protesting in front of the emir of Ilorin's palace. The protesters were also heard lamenting hunger and hardship created by policy of the All Progressive Congress. And just the last week we had a report that commercial drivers were also agitating about the hardship on the country now. But then for children to take the conversation and take the bull by the horn and begin a protest, this really calls for concern. And of course, we will be talking about the hardship in Nigeria in general. But let's take a leaf from Ilorin to begin the conversation. I'm not alone in the studio this morning. I have a guest who will be joining me to talk about this issue, and he is George Nachi. And Nachi Gold is also a human rights development expert, and he will be talking to us on this issue this morning. Welcome to the show, Nachi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godwin. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's even begin with the conversation. I know you're more familiar with the terrain of children and that of adults and how development work in general. But trying to look at the whole scenario that played out in Kwara State, and we know that there's an alleged planned protest also come October 1st across the country, which is tagged to be a nationwide protest. Looking at all of this narrative, what do you make of children taking the bull by the horn going out for protests?
Well, thank you so much for having me on the studio today, and I'm also happy to be here to make my own contribution on the happenings in Nigerian economy and on what happened in Kwara State a few days ago. They say that a hungry man is an angry man. So once you are hungry, you're also expected to be angry. Now, for last month, that was August, we had a end bad government protest that took place across various states in our nation. Now, this one we have underage protesting in Kwara State. That's to tell you that the level of hunger has entered into another dimension. The level of provocation has entered into another dimension. So it's no longer the youth. This one is a teenager. Before, youth used to protest, adults used to protest, but now the hunger that is happening in our country today has affected even the teenager. In the situation by which the teenagers are no longer receiving the kind of attention, the economic support they used to receive from their parents. So you don't expect them to keep quiet. In those days, our parents used to give us pocket money. They give us something for us to take care of ourselves. They try to provide our need, basic need, to keep us going. But today's own, if our parents manage to provide food, only food, not even clothing, not even other luxuries, just manage to provide food, they are done for the day. So now, these teenagers have seen what is happening. So they now said, when they have issue, they run to their parents. And the parents will give them excuse. Don't you see what is happening? The salary I'm earning is not even enough for my transportation. So where will I get another money to take care of your personal need, take care of the family need, and also provide pocket money as I used to do in the previous years? So looking at all these things is what have kind of provoked the teenagers to say, let's go and protest, not just on their behalf, even on behalf of their parents. If our parents cannot be able to do it, we can do it on their behalf. If our parents, they don't have the energy, they don't have the strength to go and stand under the sun, under the rain, to tell government, what is happening in the society, the economy is down. The salary we are receiving is not enough for us. The increase of fuel pump price is high. So therefore, if our parents cannot do it, let's go and do it on behalf of our parents. So that if government cannot hear the cry of our parents, I think they can hear the cry of the teenagers. I think that should be one of the reasons why they decided to go on the street, to go and let government know, government, this thing is also affecting us. Before, it was affecting only our parents, but now, we're also affecting it. It's also affecting us. They say anything that affects the eyes will also affect the nose.
So Charles Gold, at this point in time, we understand that these teenagers are not breadwinners of their family. So in a way, it looks as though it is politically motivated. The protests took different tones. First, it was at the Emir Palace. Then another set of protests were on the streets, where we hear teenagers carrying placards and saying all manner of things, ungodly things to the government. Do you think first that this whole itinerary and activities or protests, as it were, is politically motivated?
The protest is not politically motivated. I don't need to wait until a politician to tell me that the economy is not good for me to know that the economy is not good.
These children are still young, and they might not be able to ascertain or affirm if the economy is really bad, the way it were. Like if you see 3 square meals to eat and you're eating 2, or you've reduced to 1, it might just be that your parents have decided to make you start learning how to fast as a way of survival.
I don't think so. The children, they are seeing things by themselves. The children, they belong to one school or the other. They go to market to buy things. The children, the teenagers, let me use the word, teenagers, they are living with their parents. They always listen to their parents when they come back from work and say, see, so amount of money I spend in buying petrol to fuel my car. In order to enable me to go to my office, to go to my working place. So they have ears. Their ears is on ground. They have their eyes. They are seeing. So they know what is happening. So they don't need to wait until a politician motivate them to go and tell government that government, this economy is affecting us. No, they know what is happening. They are living in the same country with their parents. They are living in the same place with their parents. So the children, they have access to social media. They have access. In fact, children now, they have more access than the teenagers. Children now, they understand what is happening more than the parents. In fact, they are the one who even in the position to tell their parents what is happening based on what they read on the social media. So, seeing and knowing what is happening in society, a teenager don't need to wait until a politician come and motivate him and say, carry placard and go and start protesting to tell the APC government, to tell President Tinubu that the economy is really affecting him or is really affecting his parents. No! He's aware of what is happening. Therefore, having been aware of what is happening, he has the constitutional right to go out on the street to let the government know that this economy has gone down. Government, the level of economic meltdown is affecting us, not just only our parents, because once our parents is not receiving the level of economy, the level of finance he is supposed to receive in order to transfer to me as a teenager. So therefore, I have the right to go and protest on behalf of my own parents, on behalf of myself. He's not only protesting on himself, he's also protesting on behalf of his parents. Say, President Tinubu, things have gone wrong. I beg, adjust. I beg, review your economic policy. Review. I said something a few weeks ago. I said, if you make a policy and the policy you made is for the people you are governing, and the people you are governing said that this policy is affecting us, what do you have to do as a leader? Is it to send ammunition and start to shoot them on the street because they're protesting? No. The right thing to do is to go back and review your policies and say, these policies I come up with is not good. So therefore, let me review it. That is what we expected of a president or as a leader to do. But not to send police, not to send military to go and shoot them, innocent protesters.
Charles, let's even talk about the issues of around this children exposure, early exposure to rally. You're exposing them to the streets at this time. Parents have allowed their children. What if something goes wrong and that's while they were demonstrating their rights? Is this not too early for teenagers to start protesting and carrying placards against and speaking up against the government? Doesn't this have some potency of spilling doom for our society if teenagers are beginning to go this route?
Well, if we have a government that believes in democracy, that practice democracy, it will not be wrong for the teenagers to go on the street to protest. But because we have a government that don't believe in rule of law, because we have a government that don't believe in democracy, that is where I can accept what you say that it is wrong or it will put them on the danger side. Because we have seen in this country where innocent youth, go out there to protest against the government, against the government policies. What was the outcome of the protest? Shootings. We lost so many youths. So, because of the kind of government we have that don't believe in rule of law, that don't believe in democracy, that's where I can agree with you that it will be wrong, or it will put the teenagers on the danger side, on the danger zone. But if we have a government that believes in democracy, that believe that children have right to express themselves through protests, peaceful protests, I think I would say that their protesting is right, and they have their right as a citizen to protest. But because we have a government that any protest will make them to view it on the bad side, they'll see it as they are being politically motivated. They'll see that a politician is somewhere sponsoring them in order to overthrow the government. But they will not see the reality of the protest. The reality of ground is there is hunger in the land. There is hunger in the land. And a hungry man is an angry man. So once you're hunger, you can do undo. Once you're hunger, you can be provoked. You can throw yourself on the street to go and start to let the government know that what is affecting us, we don't like it. We will not keep wait until we die here. So, but because we have a bad government, that anything you do, they will see it from the negative angle. That you are being energized, you are being motivated by politicians somewhere who want to overthrow the government, this and that. But they will not see that hunger is the reason why that the youth, the teenagers have thrown themselves on the street without being motivated by any politician. I don't need any politician to motivate me before I know that I'm hungry. I don't need any politician to tell me, whether APC government, whether PDP, whether Labour Party, to tell me that there's hunger in the land. There's hunger. We know it. Children are aware. When a child sees that he don't used to receive 3 square meals in a day, unlike before, he sees that the father hardly provide one meat in the soup. Serve him one meat in his rice. So he don't need anybody to motivate him to go on the street to say, hey, this thing is getting out of hand.
But then again, don't you see this as a largely from the part of negligence or parental negligence at this point, why parents are failing to meet up with their responsibilities in terms of going to farming, in terms of having side hustles that can pay off so that the children can be sustained, because when you bring them to the world, you owe them a responsibility of care. Don't you think that this whole issue doesn't have to go blamed on the government? Rather, the teenagers should rather be talking to their parents and pour their angers on their parents instead of talking to the government.
On the side of parents putting all their effort to give support, provide the necessary need of his or her children, I don't think that they have not done enough. Parents have done enough. African parents, they have done enough. They are active, they are industrious, so they have done enough. But you're active in an economy where there is insecurity. You made mention of farming. How many farmers do we have? How many farmers do we have? In my own land here in Abuja, where I'm building, every day, Fulani herdsmen will carry their cow into my land. I planted crops there, planted other things there. I'm doing farming in my land too. As I'm building, I'm also doing farming. Now, every day by day, Fulani herdsmen will carry their cow into my land. They will eat up all the crops in the land. So, parents, they are industrious. They are hardworking parents. Every African parent is a hardworking man. Is a hardworking woman. But because of we don't have a good government, we don't have a good government, that's what's affecting us. Every effort parents are putting is not yielding fruit. You go into farming, Fulani herdsmen will come and kill you. You go into farming, they send their crops to come and eat up your crops. You put every effort, you take one step forward, three step backward, because of the kind of environment we find ourselves, because of bad leadership we find ourselves. On the normal setting, on the developed world, Fulani herdsmen don't need to be carrying their cow on the main road, on the major road. There should be ranching. There should be if you are doing business, you should make a plan for your business. I should be the one making plan for you. In fact, making plan for ranching should be part of your planning before you go into cow business. Before you go into cow rearing, it should be part of your plan. What do I need to start to go into this business? Ranching should be put into consideration first. Ranching. So you will not blame African parents that they are not doing enough or being negligent. The reason why that the children try to the street. No, the children have seen that the parents have done their best. They have put their effort, but the effort is not yielding fruit. They have done their best. So having seen that the parents have done their best and their best is not yielding fruit, they decided to go and protest. In fact, they are like speaking on behalf of their parents. We are here standing on behalf of our parents. My mother have done her best, but nothing to show. My father have done his best, nothing to show. Therefore, it is my own turn to go and speak on behalf of my parents, to let government know my mother have done all she could, but nothing to show. My father have done all he could, but nothing to show. So therefore, government will need your intervention. We need your intervention.
And the government that did not listen to their parents will listen to them.
If it is, just like I said, if it's a government that have a listening ear, if it's a government, but we don't have a government that have a listening ear. The only thing they will tell you is we should tighten up, we should adjust. Everyone should adjust. Poor people should adjust. Why the rich men will not adjust? Poor people should adjust, but they will buy their private jet, changing SUV for the lawmakers. But they will tell ordinary parents, just adjust, manage yourself. So we'll be adjusting while they will not be adjusting. So instead of government will be able to adjust in order to assist the ordinary Nigerian, they will not. But they will be doing a kind of spending the resources, the economy the way they like, why they will tell other Nigerians to adjust. So it's an error coming from the government side. It's an error.
One thing we fear in Nigeria is the issues of escalation. And because most Nigerians are good with when it has to do with, we call it copy and copycat syndromes in the country. If teenagers in Kwara State, in the capital of Kwara State, which is Ilorin, already going out, already protesting to the government, other teenagers and other children might likely take a lead from there and want to also emulate the same thing. So we are asking as a society at this point in time, are we ready for these children to start protesting? The timing for this protest, going forward, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has always reiterated that he is doing his best to fix the economy. Just yesterday, day before yesterday, I beg your pardon, Onanuga has come out to say that President Bola Tinubu is doing his best also to fix the economy. Looking at the timing as it is right now, knowing fully well again that this does not just affect Nigeria. This hardship is alleged to be global. Is the timing right for us to allow children and teenagers to be protesting even in the country?
Well, protest has nothing to do with timing. You can protest anytime you're hungry. So, I think the right time to protest is now. In fact, let me even say that both the protest that took place last month started very late. Once a leader assumes position of leadership, we watch you within 6 months. We don't see any good leadership. It is the constitutional right of every citizen to throw on the street and say, we have watched you for 6 months. We have not done anything. I beg, sit up. Protest will make government to sit up. If everybody keep quiet and be watching government like this, they will not do the right thing. So protest is to put pressure on the government, on our leaders, for them to do the right thing. So the protest that is going on now is at the right time. The time is now. We will not keep quiet until all of us are buried. Look at people are committing suicide. Go to social media. In Lagos, somebody jumped from the Milan Bridge. Here in Maraba, in Abuja here, the outskirts of Abuja, one man committed suicide. People are dying every day. So this protest, this is the right time for protest. The time is now. The time is now. Repeat, the time is now. We all must throw on the street to let government know that what is happening, we don't like it. We must not sit down until we die. We must not sit down until we die. Because we're already dying already. So we need to do something in order not to die.
But then looking at the fact that this is coming from children, wouldn't this also spill a very bitter taste to our country within the committees of nation, the way they perceive us right now, knowing fully well that teenagers are going out to protest? This is not right in its sense. I don't know what you make of that.
Well, some time ago I read something that said that God listened to the cry of children. Now, I believe that for adults to protest, government may be like, we are used to your protest. The youth will protest. God be like, we are used to them. So if teenagers rise up to protest, I think that government should then say to themselves, if you have a listening government, to say to themselves, now wow, this have gone to another dimension. For teenagers to throw themselves on the street, for children, it be like watching your child crying on the street. Even if you don't have money, you can borrow. You watching your child crying of hunger on the street. Even if you don't have money to provide, you're going to borrow it. And this is what is expected of government of President Tinubu to do. To do that teenagers are the one protesting. It's no longer the time adults, youth, but now the teenagers. So the timing is now. And President Tinubu need to do something.
But this leaves a bitter taste of Nigerian in international communities, among communities of nations. We'll likely lose our respect, we'll lose our prestige as the giant of Africa and the forefront of leadership positions if we go this route. Don't you think so? Among the communities of nations, let's look at it from international perspective.
Before now, we are the giant of Africa. We have lost it already. We're no longer the giant of Africa. Currently,
who is the giant of Africa?
Nigeria is no longer the giant of Africa.
We are still the giant of Africa.
No, we're no longer the giant of Africa. We have lost our dignity. So we don't have shame anymore. We don't have shame anymore. We don't follow rule of law anymore. So the international community already know. They are aware that Nigeria have lost their place. Nigeria have lost their respect. So we're like a shameless country. We don't follow rule of law. We don't believe in democracy. Anything goes. So international community, we have become already, we are a laughing stock in the international community. Is there any nation that don't know anything about government, about Nigeria? That's why if a Nigerian want to travel to any country, you want to mention Nigeria. They will be careful with you.
But this incident of teenagers protesting will further deteriorate the state of our nation right now. Don't you think so?
Yes. It will make it to become worse. Yes, I agree with you. But the fault is not from the teenagers. The fault is from the government. When government do the right thing, everybody will now follow and start doing the right thing. So once the government are not doing the right thing, what do you expect the teenager to do? There's one proverb that said that if you bite me on my hair without looking at my hair, I can bite you on your anus without looking at your shit. Do you understand me? So if our leaders have no shame, they behave as they like, they maltreat us as they like, and you expect the teenagers to keep quiet, they'll follow suit now, because the destruction of this country started from the leadership.
All right, let's even move away from the teenagers' protests. The youth, in their own little way, also are protesting from different quarters. Now, one of the negative impact of the protests among youth is the current rise in fraudulent activities, even within the internet space. We saw where it has metamorphosed right now to what they allegedly call Yahoo Plus, and people begin to do a form of diabolic means in order for them to make ends meet. And they are saying, the majority of them that have been caught in front of camera by the Nigerian police are also saying that it is largely due to the fact that the hardship being meted on them by the government is much. But then this hardship also has not just been a Nigerian thing. It has been a universal phenomenon, as you already know. In our development right now, should we say that hardship that Nigerians are facing and the hunger can be a factor that has led the youth in Nigeria to delve into all form of vices in order to stay afloat? Can this be a factor?
Yes, I agree with you that the bad government we have today in our society today, in our country today, is what that have contributed in making the youth to turn themselves into.
No, it's alleged. It's alleged that that's what made them to, because people have their own reasons. Even if the government is good, some people will still want to do what they need to do. But it's alleged. But let's get your take generally.
Yeah. Now, Nigerian youth are industrious. They are hardworking. They are creative. What we call fraud is to tell you the level of development our Nigerian youth have. If we have a good government that can utilize our youth, we can turn that their fraudster into a positive side of Nigerian economy.
How do you mean?
See what they're doing on social media. Anybody who is a fraudster must be a creative thinker. Check those people who are into fraudster. They're not ordinary people. They are vast in their knowledge. They are vast in their ideas. So if government can utilize those people, they become an addition to Nigerian economy. So there are many ways Nigeria can use them. Do you understand me? So they are creative thinkers. If Nigeria utilize them, they are creative thinkers. Nigerian youth are creative thinkers. Anywhere in the world, Nigerian youth find themselves, they are creative, they are industrious. But because we have bad government, there's no a kind of enabling environment for them to bring out what they have for the betterment of our society. That's what affecting them. So it's because of bad government, lack of unemployment. They say idle man is a devil's workshop. So once you're idle, you start to use your creativity into a negative side. Once you're idle. But if government can come in and utilize them, create enabling environment, give them employment, you see that is where their ideas will be harnessed for the betterment of the Nigerian economy to grow.
Well, Mr. Charles Gold and Nachi, we'll come back to this conversation. Viewers, we'll go for a short break right now. When we come back, we'll still be talking about the economic and some of the protest that is silently going on and the one that is loudly pronounced in different quarters of the country. Please go nowhere. Signature Morning continues in a moment.
The consequence of the unfortunate situation we citizens are experiencing in many parts of the country with flooding are both in terms of health and in terms of livelihood, in terms of lives that are lost. And there is the real worry. Once you contaminate water sources or you do not have a source for safe water to drink, then you're likely to drink contaminated water, and therefore there you have the risk of waterborne diseases. This is recognized as part of the response to flooding with the looking after the internally displaced persons, provision of safe water. And we recognize that there might be, in recognition of this risk, that we need to perhaps start to take steps to prepare, declare and perhaps present danger, as they say, of waterborne diseases in the situation of the type of flooding that we have seen in different parts of the country. I think it's also important to mention that exactly the situation that we have with this flooding and cholera is actually what we have in other parts of the country that are experiencing cholera at the moment. There's no flooding, but with the advent of the rainy season and now rains everywhere, and because there's previously and there still continues to be indiscriminate defecation, the rainwater washes all of that into the water sources, contaminating them, and thereby people do not have a safe source of water and end up drinking and using contaminated water, which then leads to cholera. What we now have in the situation of flooding is now multiply that by several factors if people stay in the flooded area. So it's part of why you need to move people away and where they are provide safe water, among other things, to relieve their suffering. There are things you can do, and we have released advisories and messages concerning that. Is, if you're not sure, for example, about the source of your water, boil your water before you drink it. Make sure that your food is properly cooked, cooked through and through before you do it. And then personal hygiene, you make sure you wash your hands as frequently as possible with soap and water, or now that hand sanitizers are present, also do that. It's important that we are avoiding discriminate defecation, because your water source may be contaminated by your own feces or feces of members of your family. So these are some steps to take. Nigeria is not doing very well in terms of the practice of open defecation, and that really is an area that we need, the press and others to advocate for. And of course, we recognize that you then also have to answer the question: why are people defecating openly? If you ask them to stop, where do they go? So again, state governments, local governments need to, and working with all of the partners and support that they need. They need to work on investments in water, sanitation, and hygiene. So we provide water, provide safe disposal of sewage and other related things.
And welcome back. Just in case you're just joining us, this is still Signature Morning, and I am Godwin Sunday. Now, we are talking this morning about the hardship being experienced in the country and the impending protests and the current protest that just finished in Ilorin, Kwara State, and the alleged protest that is coming up in October 1st, which we are not sure of. But then we're trying to measure the level of hardship, if truly things are really hard in the country. And of course, Mr. Charles Nachi has been helping us out to put these issues in perspective. Now, Mr. Charles, let's talk about this issue of this hardship one more time. Children are protesting. The youth are taking the bull by the horn also by trying to do the last end bad governance protest that we all saw in the country. But then we've not talked also about the level of the parents right now. From 18 years and above as adults, we see them troop out in mass to vote and campaign for the ruling party as it stands right now. I'm asking for the second time, shouldn't parents take the larger portion of this blame, knowing fully well the local government system is being sustained by the parents? The state government is being fronted by the government. Shouldn't the youth and the teenagers, the children, channel their discrepancies and their word of view to the parents instead of going back to the government?
Well, just like I said before, the children, they are aware of the effort their parents have been putting.
Their parents voted in the All Progressive Congress, even in our state, in all the local governments.
Yes. I believe that parents that voted for All Progressive Congress today, they're even regretting it.
It was majority, so it means that
majority of people that voted,
yeah.
Majority of parents that voted for President Tinubu, they're regretting it. So now, the children will not kind of vent their anger on their parents for voting for President Tinubu. So, but what would they do? They know that it is the constitutional right of every parent to vote. They don't know when they are voting that it will turn out to become bad government. That their vote they casted for President Tinubu for APC will not become something that will haunt them today. So what would they do? So would the children now go and start to quarrel with their parents? No. So the right thing to do is to go back to the government. Say, government, though our parents made mistake by voting you into power, that will not be the reason why you now kind of trouble us, kind of destroy our own future. Because the youth, they are the future leaders. So if the teenagers and the youth did not stand on their ground today to fight the government, that means that they will not have any future to see.
Mr. Charles, when we started this conversation, I asked a very salient question: that is the timing right? But let's take that timing more deeper in terms of talking about when the hardship has always been there with Nigeria. Some person will say that hardship is native with Nigerians. When President Buhari was on seat at the end of affair of this country, we had a lot of hardship, but we didn't see majority of people from the northeast, northwest, the north central coming out to protest against any form of hunger or bad governance. Now we're seeing them coming out in mass. I'm asking again for the second time. Can we define this as a true protest, or it is a cloud for us to distract the current for people of Nigeria, to distract President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Well,
what the major problem we have in Nigeria is tribalism. Tribalism is one of the major problems we have in Nigeria. When former President Muhammad Buhari was at the helm of leadership under APC government, the Northerners believed that now their own, because their own man they there, so no need of going to protest. You know, they started by saying, say Baba, say Baba. At the time, their voice started going down. No more say Baba. Because the hunger was wearing them, was affecting them so much. So much. So they stopped saying say Baba, but the only thing they did not do was to go out there to protest. So now we have another tribe, even from Southwest, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from Southwest. Now, you now see that Northerners, they are the one at the forefront of protests. Now, no matter whether the Northerners are the one protesting, the South, you see that during this last protest, Southeast refused to protest. It's not that they are comfortable, no. But the reason why they refuse to go out there to protest is because anything that happens, they are the one that bears it. If Southeast have thrown themselves into the street to protest, you have heard so many killings in the Southeast. You have heard that ammunitions draw everything I've sent to Southeast to destroy them. So they know it. That's why they decided to sit. They no protest. They refuse. So tribalism has been our major problem. That's why Nigeria is not moving forward. I'm from the north, I'm from the south, I'm from the west, I'm from this. So anytime your man is there, even if he's not ruling well, leave him like that. We are okay. So that is the problem of Nigeria, tribalism. But that does not mean that the economy is not good. The economy is not good. That doesn't mean that things are working well. Things are not working well. So I'm still standing on my ground because the youth are the future leaders. So if our adults, if our leaders destroy our nation today, destroy the economy today, that means the youth, the teenagers who are expected to be the future leaders, that means they will not have any future to lead tomorrow. So that's why the time for protest is now. It's not timing. It's not late. So they need to take the bull by the horn today and start doing something. Start putting fire on our leaders. Start putting pressure on our leaders. Leaders, President Tinubu, sit up. This one from this minister, sit up. Gather your house. Gather your leaders together. Tell them that things are not working well. The policies we came up with by removing fuel subsidy, that's where everything started from, sir. You remove fuel subsidy without putting any measure in place. No measure put in place. You remove fuel subsidy when the was still a minimum wage was still 30,000 naira. That was where he removed fuel subsidy. 30,000 minimum wage. Now it has been reviewed to 70,000 naira. Now the 70,000 naira is not even enough for transportation. You raise it up to 70,000 naira and still increase fuel pump price. What level of leadership is this? What level of governance is this? Without putting measures in place. So that's why the teenagers have to stand on their ground and go into the street.
Charles, it took Rome. It took Rome about 1,229 years for Rome to develop. So I don't know what you see in this conversation. Don't you think that the conversation, the narrative, should rather be that we should give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu time to be able to meet up with certain responsibility and commitments that he has pledged to Nigerians, instead of we going into protest at this time, protest of any sort, be it by the teenagers, by youth, by parents. Don't you think that the president at this point deserves some form of support for him to be focused and deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigerians?
The problem of Nigeria today is not that we don't have enough time to develop. We had enough time for over the previous administrations to develop this country. But because of corruption, self-centeredness, our leaders, they are so centered. A leader who has no office today, he will enrich himself, enrich his friends, enrich his family members. That's the problem. So it's not all about giving them time. Even if you give them 100 years to come, Instead of Nigeria will move forward, will be developed, it will go backward. Former President Buhari took Nigeria backward, that it will still take 100 years to recover. I repeat, I'm telling you, former President Muhammad Buhari took Nigeria backward, that 100 years.
It was allegedly backward.
I'm telling you, so Tinubu now started from, during his campaign, he said he want to start from where Buhari stopped. And that is exactly what he did. He said, where Buhari stop? Where did Buhari stop? He stopped by bringing suffering, hardship, destroying the economy, destroying the security system of our Nigeria, of our country. He started by enriching his friends, his household. Everybody were enriched. He came that with intention of going to fight corruption, but by the end of the day, Nigeria became the worst corrupt nation under President Muhammadu Buhari. So, and Tinubu said they go to start from where his predecessor stopped. And that's exactly what is happening. So, immediately he assumed office, he said fuel subsidy is gone. That is the beginning of hardship of Nigeria. He declared hardship from the first day of inauguration. Since then, Nigerians have not experienced any form of peace. Since then, since last year to today. So, even if you give our leaders more 100 years to develop, they will not. The reason is because they don't have Nigeria in their heart. They have themselves. When a leader is self-centered, is self-focused, what do you expect? In a developed world, they would have cut their economy, cut their expenses. This thing. That's why when P2B was campaigning, his focus was that he said, we want to cut our economy, cut our expenses. There are things that are not needed. Earlier this year, there was a renovation of a vice president's house. Was the house bad before? It was the house where Osibanjo was staying. So what happened to it?
In the renovation.
Renovation. I will spend billions of naira doing renovation.
A little touch.
A little touch.
To make it convenient for the president.
When you don't touch the life of people you're leading, you start touching the life of your vice president. So we don't need more time. So this is not giving our little time.
Mr. Charles, I am not the spokesperson for the president. I can't really answer some of those questions right now. But I believe the president is listening to us at this point, and he will take drastic actions. But moving forward from this conversation, let's talk about some of the solutions and recommendations that should be preferred at this point. Should we be talking about, shouldn't we be talking about at this point on this table about this protest and its potential to develop Nigeria? Let's look at it from another light. Protests, development. Most protests that have been held in Nigeria and are just a group of persons that were not satisfied politically, and they pulled a crowd together to do this protest. That's why I'm asking this politically motivated, because most protests in Nigeria, apart from NSAS protests, most protests in Nigeria are destructive in nature, and they're not designed to push the country forward. I'm asking you at this point, are there modalities and structures that you think we can put in place to ensure that when we come to protest against the government, it can have a positive narrative and a developmental strides?
If government wants the youth or the adult or the teenager to stop protesting, they know what they're supposed to do.
But the government might not have all the answers. That's why we are part of the government. I know you're more of a democracy person. You will define democracy as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So, but we can give the government our one token for them to also add. How do we now ensure that protests are developmentally positioned for the growth and development of Nigeria?
The major thing that is propelling this protest is hunger. I repeat, the major propeller of this protest that makes the youth to throw themselves on the street for protest is hungry. Don't forget I say here that hungry man is an angry man. So once you are hungry, you'll be angry. So what do we do in order to contain this protest? Is our leaders to review their policies. What are we doing that is not yielding fruit for the ordinary Nigerian? What are we doing? Now, you say fuel subsidy is gone without putting measure in place. Now, is it bad for you to go back and say, Chai, that I made mistake from the day one? Therefore, let me review it. Let me go back. Please, we are subsidizing fuel again. Let everything go back to normal.
At the detriment of Nigerian economy?
No. It's not at the detriment of the
economy. The subsidy,
no.
Peter Obi promised to remove the subsidy.
Yeah.
Atiku promised to remove subsidy.
No.
But that's one of the campaign manifesto. Peter Obi promised to remove the subsidy. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised to remove subsidy. Same thing with Atiku or Abubakar. I don't understand that of Kwankwaso right now for the matter of first subsidy. So whether it was Atiku, it was Peter Obi, it was President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, subsidy would have gone because it was one way or the other becoming harmful to Nigeria's economy. So at the detriment of Nigerian economy, shouldn't subsidy go?
Now, if you listen to Mr. P2B, yes, he said that if he assumed office, he will remove fuel subsidy. But he did not say that he will remove subsidy without putting measures in place. Okay. That's the difference between P2B and that of President Tinubu.
All right.
He said, I will remove subsidy, but before removing it, I first of all put measures in place. Just like now, transportation, revealing the economy or improving on the economy to make the citizens to live, to have a better wage, to make the living condition of the citizens to be good before removing subsidy. Every country in America today, they are still subsidizing their education, they subsidize everything. So this oil is only thing other Nigeria is benefiting from government. Only oil is what Nigeria is benefiting from the federal government. So why removing that only benefit to have? By saying you don't want to subsidize it again. Now you say you are removing it.
We still subsidize for electricity also. We're meant to understand that there's subsidy on electricity.
My brother, electricity tariff is increasing day by day. Go and check how much that's why there was also a protest. In fact, one of the reasons why the end bar government gave is for them to review their electrical tariff increment. It's among the things. They tell us that they are increasing day by day, and the government is not doing anything about it. Electricity. So if President Tinubu want to remove fuel subsidy, he would have done it in a better way by improving the living condition of the ordinary Nigerian.
So is the protest the way to go?
That's the only thing.
If it is the way to go, are there better ways for us not to be?
The only language government listen to is protest. I repeat, the only language government listen to is protest. In fact, protesting is the constitutional right of every citizen. Peaceful protest. That's the only language they listen to. When you fold your hand and sit in your house, they will not hear you. They will think that they are doing well. They think that everything is, the citizens are happy with us now, nobody's talking. Let's control the way. Let's continue siphoning the economy, siphoning the Nigerian resources, siphoning everything. And everybody's keeping quiet. Nobody's saying anything. They think that they are doing well. In fact, after they did what they call it embargo protest, I started hearing that President Tinubu is trying to rejig his cabinet members. A central protest, you would have heard something about rejigging his government, his cabinet. So protest is the only language government listen to. Peaceful protest. But whenever we protest, they become angry. They will see that they want to overthrow their government. No, nobody want to overthrow your government. You will say, Oga, sit up. Your policies is killing us. Your policies is not good for us. So therefore, review it. Gather your cabinet and say, the people we are leading, they are not happy with us.
And perhaps speak to the children to go back home. You've not added that part even in Kwara State.
The children can only go back home if things have been revised.
Charles Godnachi, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show this morning. It was an interesting conversation, and of course, we have been enlightened on some of the things that is going on in the country. I want to say thank you so much once again for finding out time to be with us today, Charles.
Thank you, Godwin, for having me.
All right, viewers, this is how far we can go this morning on Signature Morning. Do remember to follow us on all our social media handle that is displayed on the screen, and you can comment, leave a comment, interact with us, because the conversation doesn't stop on this table. It continues on our various social media platforms. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Till I come your way again, same time, same station tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. From all of us here in the studio, it's bye for now.